Hey, as promised, we're doing a video on FC United of Manchester. We're looking at the history of FC United of Manchester. Now, the club itself is founded in 2005, although there were rumblings of discontent amongst Manchester United supporters in the late 90s. In 1998, it was proposed that a breakaway club was set up, and that was in protest of a proposed takeover of the club by B Sky B, who at the time, Rupert Murdoch had a large stake in B Sky B, and fans weren't happy about that. Ultimately, Malcolm Glazer buys Manchester United, a controlling stake in Manchester United in 2005, and there was a large proportion of the fan base who decided in protest to set up their own club. So between 2005 and 2014, they played at Gig Lane, which was the historical home of Bury Football Club. Bury obviously have also gone by the wayside and had to be reformed. And in 2014, they moved to Broadhurst Park, which has a capacity of 4,400 and is an all-seater stadium. They regularly get the highest attendances in non-league football. So, yeah, there's still a large proportion of the fan base that still are not of Manchester United that still dislike the Glazer family and their ownership and the direction the club's taking. There's regular protests outside Old Trafford, and of course the green and yellow scarves and green and yellow Newton Heath colours are worn in protest. Back in, I think, 1996, Manchester United had the Newton Heath colours as their secondary away kit as an anniversary edition, because Newton Heath was the traditional, original Manchester United club before they moved to Old Trafford and changed their name. Now let's have a look at the progression through the leagues of FC United of Manchester. So in 2005 they are placed in the North West Counties League Division 2. They gained promotion to the North West Counties Division 1 at the end of that season. So in 2006 they're playing in the North West Counties League Division 1. They get promotion to the Northern Premier League Division 1 North, and so in 2007 that's the league they're playing in. They get promoted again to the Northern Premier League Premier Division for the 2008-2009 season, where they remain until 2015. They get promotion to the National League North, so that's, the sixth tier of English football. Now they stay in the National League North until 2019. They are relegated back down to the Northern Premier League Premier Division. So at the moment they're in the seventh tier of English football, but they had 3 consecutive promotions. That's hard to do in any level of the game. So they're two divisions below the Football League at the moment. And it is what it is. Well, they're 3 divisions, should I say, below League 2. So they're not a million miles away from making the Football League, and I think that would be an objective for the club. And in their short history, they've done pretty well. There's another club we're going to be looking at that are also pretty young, that are a few leagues above them, and nearly made the Football League a couple of years ago. But at the moment, they're a couple of tiers below the Football League, but they're a solidly run club. In their history, they've made the FA Cup second round in the 2010-2011 season. Not bad for a non-league club. And they made the FA Trophy fourth round in the 2014-2015 season. Again, that's not a bad run for a club that's only been going since 2005. Interesting facts about FC United of Manchester. The club is supporter-owned and has around 5,000 registered members. There are only 2 other clubs in the UK that are bigger than them for being supporter-owned, and that is Heart of Midlothian, otherwise known as Hearts, in Scotland. That is the biggest fan-owned club in the UK, and Exeter City, who we've also done a video on. They're also supporter-owned, and that was after the club went bankrupt and had to basically find a way to survive, and the supporters stepped in to save Exeter City from going out of business. Another interesting fact about FC United of Manchester is they do not have sponsors on their jerseys. Now, they do have title sponsors. They obviously do have sponsorship, but they do not have sponsors on their jerseys. That was a part of the process of when the club was set up. The fans and the members said, we don't want sponsors on our jerseys. How long that remains the case, we shall find out, and as they get further up the footballing pyramid, that may change, but that's part of the club's mantra: no sponsors on the jerseys. Now, the 5,000 members all have equal voting rights, so it's 1 vote, 1 member, which is quite interesting. And there we go. So that is a very brief history. The Broadhurst Park development, they wanted initially to put a stadium in Newton Heath. Now, Manchester City Council backed out of that. So they're not actually in the Newton Heath area of Manchester, the traditional home and the original home of Manchester United. They're in northwest Manchester. So Yes, their stadium has had some community grants and government funding. It's publicly funded. And also the supporters have also put the supporters trust to put some money into it. It costs around 6.5 million to build, and it's not a bad little stadium. And as I say, they regularly break non-league records for attendance. They are a well-supported club in the non-league, and I think if they were to make the football league, they could make a very good fist of it. They actually have a decent-sized fan base, and they could easily sell out their ground week in, week out. When they were ground sharing at Gig Lane, they had to move around Manchester when there was fixture clashes, when Bury were the home team, because Bury were the owners of Gig Lane at the time. So they've played at multiple stadiums, but now they have their own home. And as I say, regularly sell it out. So there you go. There's a brief history of FC United of Manchester. The origin stories actually predate the foundation because there was um, a fair proportion of Man United fans that weren't happy with proposed, ownership changes going back to the 90s with B Sky B. They do play in the traditional Manchester United red shirts, black shorts. Their crest is the crest of the city of Manchester. So very similar to Man City and Manchester United in the crest design. But there we go. It would be kind of fun to see them wear the gold and green Newton Heath colours at some point. I think that would be quite fitting. But there we go. There's a brief history of FC United of Manchester. And we're going to do a couple more club videos of the histories today. We're going to look at Hearts, we're going to look at Hibs, and we're going to look at Solihull Moors and Bradford Park Avenue. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts in the comments section below, and I'll have some more content for you very, very soon.